Most recently, and the most scary one I've had, I was flying. And I was flying a visual approach into Houston. And we're at 1,500 feet, and runway's in sight. We're all set. And he'd watched me fly for a little bit, and he says, "Can I ask a question?" Of course, it's a sterile cockpit. You're not supposed to, but I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What are you looking at when you fly a visual approach?" I was astounded.
The ground?
I said, when we get on the ground, we'll talk about this. No, you're cross-checking your instruments. You're double-checking the ILS. There's some outside light indicators. There's all the inside, outside that to aviate an airplane, right? And you're checking your speed. And he really didn't understand. And I said, "Why do you not understand?" He said, "Because in the simulator, they told me, fly the autopilot to 50 feet, click it off, look up and land." I almost fell over, Tucker. And I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I don't really think that that's what they were training. I think what they were trying to train was how to do a visual approach in a simulator that doesn't allow it. They just need to check the block. So you'll learn this out on the line. This is how we're going to teach you to fly the simulator only. But he understood that to be how you would operate in an airplane. So the disconnect is there because the experience level wasn't there. So if I have a pilot approaching me saying, "What are you looking at when you land an airplane?" That's a problem.
So I think for, non-pilot civilians like me, the expectation is that all your pilots either come from the military or Embry-Riddle or school like,
sure.
Or a school like Embry-Riddle being the most famous.
My alma mater.
Your alma mater. But that they're all kind of like aviation nuts, and they bug their dad for lessons at the local airport.
Wash the airplane for a lesson.
Exactly. Yeah. And that they have a lot of experience in Cessnas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really relevant because the basics of aviation are just so obvious in a little plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get pilots who don't have that experience?
No, most have that experience, or at least come up through the civilian world. Military is getting harder to find, right? The military is shorthanded as it is. People aren't leaving. We haven't had a war recently, so they're not leaving the military. They've all left the military, right? Because of the policies, and they're here already. There's no one in the pipeline, and so that's the problem. It's who's out there, and so people that weren't necessarily the creme de la creme, now we're stuck with what's left, and we're trying to fill seats. I will say, the economic demise of something like a Spirit is a bad thing for those people. We're now starting to get them coming to the big airlines. And so that's good for the passengers. It's good for them. They do have experience. But that rapid desire to grow post-pandemic, my airline went from 10,000 pilots to, as of last week, 18,000 in 2.5, 3 years.
Damn.
That changes.
Where'd those new pilots come from?
Everywhere.
The internet?
Mostly Microsoft Flight Simulator? No. Mostly the regionals. We'd already drained the military, so they're coming up as fast as they can. And they, out of college, restricted ATP at 1,250 hours, fly to 1,500, interview, and right in the door, right in the right seat of a 757, and 2 years later, you're a captain. And you're talking about 26, 25.
Ooh.
So that slow down judgment isn't there either. The hardest thing I have to do at work, Tucker, is explain to my new first officers that when you see on your papers that the van leaves at 8:00, that's go, not show. Don't show up and then pay your credit card bill and all these things. They're young. I don't want to generalize this and say that whole entire, because my son's of that generation and he's responsible. They're just irresponsible, want to do it their own way.
Right.
They're just green at life, not just at piloting.
No,
they're green
right.
at life. They haven't dealt with responsibilities and things. And, they don't want to fly. They call fatigued a half hour before the flight. And it's like, dude, you had better be where you need to be. That's what they pay us for. Right?
You've had people crap out a half an hour before?
Saturday night in Newark, and I was a passenger. Yeah.
No way. So last year I get home and there are all these boxes in the kitchen. I wonder what these are. I open up one and they are tortilla chips made by a company I'd never heard of called Masa. Masa chips are not like other tortilla chips in that they are all natural. There are only 3 ingredients in the chips, and there are no seed oils whatsoever. My wife had ordered these because she's a healthy person, and so I immediately hit them hard, and they're delicious. And not only are they delicious, they don't make you feel bad. You hit any kind of chip on the market in the United States, eat a whole bag of them, for example, and man, you do not feel good. I'm not going to get more specific, but you just, it's like a head injury. You eat a bag of masa chips, and I can confirm this because I did, and you feel great. You feel totally fine because it's real food. There's nothing weird in there. There are no weird chemicals in there. Once again, there are no seed oils, just 3 simple ingredients. And so I thought, well, this is a pretty amazing company making a snack food that's not going to kill you, and you don't have to feel bad about it. It's like basically what your grandparents ate. So we reached out to Masa and said, hey, if you ever do advertising, we'd love to advertise them because we love the chips. And they said, sure. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're telling the truth about something that we eat and love and we think is great and recommend it strongly on the basis of more personal experience than I want to admit in public, but they're really, really good. So you can go to masachips.com/discount/Tucker to start snacking well. You get 20% off your first order. We enjoy them. Hope you do too. Like just too hungover to fly.
No, he'd flown from one airport into Newark. It started at 9:00 at night, flew a 30-minute flight. They were going to reassign him to cover the late flight. And he just said, no, I'm fatigued.
Oh, wow.
So that becomes a problem too. So all of these reasons that we need to maybe hold on to our senior pilots to mentor our junior pilots a little longer, they add up.
What, just to finish it up, what happened to the kid who asked you what you're looking at while you're landing?
We talked about it. He's good. He'll be just fine. And I've talked to the training department and explained to them that we have some questions out there. So I'll see him again shortly on another trip and we'll talk about it again. But I'm sure he's...
In all these decades of flying, have you ever been afraid in a plane?
Never.
Not one time?
Never. Don't have time to, Tucker. Instinct takes over. Adrenaline takes over. If your pilot's afraid, they probably shouldn't be there.
No, that's right.
In fact, everything just slows down. As fast as I go, and I am, most people say, sir, you talk too fast. No, I say, you listen too slow. But, when it comes down to the emergency, everything just stops. And that's what you want.
Have you had emergencies?
I've been blessed. No. My husband, however, has a black cloud over his head.
Really? What happened to him? I'm looking at him out of the corner of my eye right now. He looks very calm, I must say.
1998 on St. Paddy's Day. Yesterday was the anniversary of his almost near death. It was a near midair at Newark. Let's see, is that a rapid decompression, an explosive decompression, a full hydraulic system failure? And he took one of my flights because we were on the same airplane at the time, and he flew to Santiago, Chile, and he had a complete standby power system failure, which is something that should have never happened in a Boeing 767.
So what does that mean?
It means they armed the autopilot for the approach. An explosion came out of the dash. Everything goes crazy. The first officer flies. They have no auto brakes. They have no speed brakes. They have no number one radio. Everything is gone. And he landed the airplane and stuck his big cowboy boots on those brakes and slid the airplane a little sideways, blew 6 trucks, I think, melted the wheels to the runway or to the taxiway, and they shot him with water for 2 hours. And he called me up and he goes, you owe me. And I went, don't wake me up for another hour. Bye. I had no idea what had happened. He was on the news. It was crazy. But
what was the cause of it? Did anyone figure it out?
Some sort of an electrical short out in the system. So, but
do you ever worry about fire while you're flying?
That's my biggest fear.
Me too.
Fire is the one thing you don't want to deal with. But
does that ever happen?
Haven't seen it in a while. What was it, Air Transat? Or was it Swiss Air? Up in the North Atlantic going in, they diverted into Gander, one of them, and they didn't quite make it. So
because of fire.
Fire. We take lithium batteries very seriously. Right, because we have containment bags if your laptop lithium starts to go, because that's kind of an uncontrollable fire. We want to get that out. So, again, everything that happens in blood, and we change the rules. So,
what are the rules now on lithium batteries?
Boy, I'm not familiar. It comes with the dangerous goods report, but you can have whatever you have on the plane. But if you check something with a lithium battery and you don't disclose it, it's a big deal.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.